on recruiting companies and businesses to the state of Louisiana using the Super Bowl as a launching pad. I directed the Department of Administration to assist both the legislature and local governments on procurement and cash flow policies as it relates to the Super Bowl. My intention is that we use this event as a test on some of the adjustments we need to the overall procedures that will help us appropriate funds into the right hands and to make sure that those funds are spent correctly and effectively for this state, cutting red tape and all of the bureaucratic issues that has plagued not only the city but the state as well. And then fourthly, we directed specific people within our administration, including the Louisiana State Police, to assist both J. Cicero and regional parish governments on anything they needed to keep the Super Bowl preparations on track, because public safety is number one. We have said this again and again, and I want to assure the Super Bowl that by the time, the NFL, that by the time we put this Super Bowl on, New Orleans will be one of the safest cities in the country. That even though we may come from different political backgrounds in different parts of the state, we're all in this together. And that putting on this event is not only great for the city of New Orleans, it is great for the state of Louisiana. And so again, the First Lady and I thank you all for coming here today. And with that, I would like to ask Madam Mayor LaToya Cantrell to say a few words.
Well, good morning once again. Thank you so much, Governor Landry, Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, Ms. Gail Benson, our NFL executives, the Louisiana State Legislators, New Orleans City Council members, of course the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation, the Louisiana and the City of New Orleans Super Bowl Host Committee and support team. Partnering with the state and playing to win. Governor, we're playing to win, and we are going to do just that. As we approach our record-tying 11th Super Bowl in New Orleans, there's something special that sets us apart. It is the way that our people show love and the way that we play to win in this city that was built to host. We understand the mission. We are doing the work. We recently joined the governor for the Louisiana Wallet TSA checkpoint announcement, which is just one example of how we are doing the work at the Louis Armstrong International Airport through technology that it will assist our daily travelers preparing to welcome all of our Super Bowl guests to experience our world-class city. Our city departments are playing to win. Our CEO, Gilbert Montano, is leading what we dub as the Summer of Super Bowl. Now, this is in addition to all of the infrastructure work that we have going on around the city, but make no mistake about it, an internal goal that I've had with my team, as well as our external team, that preparing for the Super Bowl is our top priority. And as the governor mentioned, when we get it done, it's paving the way for this city to be better and our state to be better for years to come. I want to also say that my Deputy CEO of Infrastructure, Mr. Joseph Threat, in collaboration with state officials, as well as our diverse leaders, are planning again to execute our Super Bowl projects across this city. Just yesterday, on this side where the Hard Rock collapsed, the notice to proceed was issued, so we will be ready for Super Bowl, no doubt about it. Once completed, as I mentioned, these projects will not only shine for Super Bowl, but they will enhance the quality of life citywide for, again, years to come. Our Downtown Development District team has laid out an expansive plan to refresh, revitalize our downtown experience. Again, the city's sanitation department is working every single day to keep the trash out of our people's eyes. We're getting ready. Our Office of Neighborhood Engagement is continuing to work on neighborhood beautification projects in addition to partnering with our Lieutenant Governor's office on a variety of Keep Louisiana Beautiful initiatives. Our NOPD is moving into our new headquarters right now that is located right across the street from the Caesars Superdome. And that Superdome is a gift that keeps on giving. Chief Kirkpatrick and the men and women of the New Orleans Police Department continue to play to win. It's undeniable the progress we're making in the city of New Orleans to ensure reducing crime and building a safer city continues to be our top priority. And like I said, it's undeniable the progress we're making. And the New Orleans and Company is continuing to lead the city in record tourism numbers while making plans to enhance the visitor experience to our great city. They're also coordinating with Super Bowl messaging and working to build a positive brand to achieve a long-term impact for this world-class city. It's undeniable we're world-class. The Greater New Orleans Foundation continues to blitz the competition and then score big by securing more and more big events for the city of New Orleans, like our Super Bowl 59. And the NFL Super Bowl Supplier Diversity Program is presenting real opportunities for small and emerging businesses right here, again, being intentional and going deep. The Crescent City Connection Bridge, I'm so excited about this, will play and will display a new level of a lighting experience that I believe will be a sign of hope for years to come. It's exciting. And I really have to give a special shout out to Secretary Donahue. DOTD has been boots on the ground, and we will see the fruits of this starting. It's already started, I might say, but lighting this bridge will be that hope. And Scott, shout out to you as well. And the city's culture will be on full display, especially as we talk about Queen Taj as the co-creator of the Super Bowl 59 logo, first in the history of the NFL. We should be proud. We should be proud. Yeah. So, you know, they say, if you build it, they will come. And that's exactly what happened as it relates to our New Orleans businessman Dave Dixon and Governor McKiffin. They led the way in a historic partnership between the city and the state of Louisiana to build what we know, that icon, the Caesars Superdome. And as I mentioned when I started, a gift that keeps on giving. So now, known as the Caesars Superdome, and of course, it'll be home of 7 Super Bowls it's been, but now the 8th is coming. But again, the 11th hosted in this great city. So the work is underway, and it truly is a testament to our cohesive partnership with Governor Landry, our Saints owner, Ms. Gail Benson, as well as all of you all who are here. It's truly a symbol that we are stronger together. And make no mistake about it, the city of New Orleans will shine as she knows how best to do, not only in the state of Louisiana, but the United States of America. So thank you all. The best is yet to come, and we are on our way to Super Bowl 59 in this great city. Thank you.
Mayor, I love that passion. But once again, you took my 5 minutes and Jay's 5 minutes. Governor, First Lady, all of you here, I have no doubt this will be the best Super Bowl ever. And it's because of that love and passion we all have for this great city and this great state. You know, prior to COVID, in 2019, we had our 5th record-breaking year in tourism. That year, over 53 million people visited Louisiana, and they left behind $1.9 billion in taxes. It's over $1,100 per Louisiana family. fourth biggest industry in the state. Now, since COVID, we've slipped a little bit. I think we had a little over 42 million this past year, but I'm sure the great attention this state will get from this Super Bowl will set us back on the path to another record-breaking year. I was recently on a 16-day tour in France, Italy, and Spain, talking about tourism, meeting with travel agents, and all of them were excited. I was surprised how excited they were about Louisiana hosting the Super Bowl. So it has become an international game, not just here in the United States, and we will surely use that to our advantage to highlight the great things this state has for this Super Bowl. Now, I spent a week in Las Vegas learning, meeting with all the groups, as many of you did, preparing for the Super Bowl. And one thing I noticed that has changed from the Super Bowl we had here in the past, Governor, and that is the media event is no longer local broadcast, TV, radio, the national. Now it's podcasts, bloggers, streamers, pay-per-view, radio, TV, sports betting. They all have a place. As a matter of fact, I believe the media will take over about half of the convention center for this event. And the media will be here more than a week out doing interviews all over the world. So we want to make sure we pump some of that great Louisiana food into the convention center and we treat them like nowhere else. Because as they're interviewing Joe Montana and all these Super Bowl greats of the past talking about the big game, we want a little food on the table. And we want to make sure we give them that Southern hospitality to make it the best Super Bowl ever. And I also want to put a plug in. I had a chance to meet with one of the NFL gentlemen that's going to be involved in the halftime show. And I wanted to remind him that this Super Bowl could really be special if we could have some homegrown Louisiana talent. Surely we got it. Louisiana hits way above its weight. We have more Grammy nominees than any state per capita in the country year in and year out. With Harry Connick Jr., Lainey Wilson, John Batiste, Lauren Daigle, just to name a few, surely they can find some great Louisiana talent to put on the best halftime show ever. So I wanted to put a little plug in for that and make this the best Super Bowl ever. Our team is ready to support our efforts to make sure it is. Thank you. Jay.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Sports Foundation is grateful for all the support you've given us over the years for the major events that we have bid upon and managed. Mayor, you've been supporting our Sports Foundation since you were a city council member. Now as mayor, you've witnessed the size and scope and how much the Super Bowl has grown since the last time that we hosted it. And we appreciate you and your team tackling all the preparations for the city to get to our record-tying 11th championship game. Governor Landry, what can I say except thank you? In early March, Sheriff Paul Valto and I presented the many opportunities that hosting a Super Bowl presents for the state of Louisiana and for the city of New Orleans. The sheriff is pretty adamant about creating an economic development effort like some other cities have done, but really making it a full statewide effort. Since then, Governor, it's obvious that you are all in. And your team is providing a level of support to the Sports Foundation, the host committee, to the city that is really unprecedented in my 28 years of hosting Super Bowls here in New Orleans. The host committee, led by the Saints and the Sports Foundation and chaired by Entergy's Marcus Brown, are appreciative of your commitment and enthusiastically welcome your appointment of Michael Hecht as your coordinator of the state's economic development effort and infrastructure improvements. And of course, I would like to thank Mrs. Benson. Without you, we wouldn't be standing here. There would be no Super Bowls in New Orleans. Arguably no Superdome if the Saints weren't here. And you talk about not having a Superdome, it means we don't have Final Fours and other events that are important. So everybody working together is really important. We love the fact that the Super Bowl is the one event that brings everyone together, and I think that's a witness here today. So hosting a Super Bowl also takes significant investment from the private business community. Therefore, I'd like to recognize some of our esteemed sponsors. Entergy, represented by Drew Marsh and, of course, Marcus Brown. Chevron, Brent Groh, their CEO. Auctioner Health, Pete November and his group. Louisiana Fish Fry, Pan American Life Insurance, Freeport McMoran, all of them corporate supporters of the organization and the host committee. Walt Leger of New Orleans and Company and Lisa Alexis of the New Orleans Tourism Cultural Fund. We can't do it without you. Now, I can't leave out our partners at ASM Global, the LSED, the Montreal Convention Center. Those facilities are world-class and continue to help us attract and manage these events. And then none of this would be possible without the deep, experienced staff and board of the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation. So those of you who are members of our organization, thank you. A lot of you are here today. So we're all in this together, and combining this with our experience in hosting Super Bowls led to what the host committee's theme is of it's what we do. I have no doubt that we will shine as a leading example of a state and city that's built to host the Super Bowl. Lastly, I'd like to extend a thank you to Peter O'Reilly, Executive Vice President, Club Business, International and League Events for the NFL. That's a mouthful. The Sports Foundation and the entire host committee has been working with Peter and his team to deliver an incomparable experience at Super Bowl 59 here in New Orleans. And in breaking news, Peter just let me know that there will actually be a game on February 9th. Thank you. Peter, please join me in welcoming Peter to the stage, to the podium, and welcome back to New Orleans, Peter.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for your leadership. You, Marcus, everybody at the host committee. The depth of their experience is tremendous. We don't get that everywhere we go, and you've got incredible leaders here leading this host committee, so thank you, Jay. We really appreciate it. On behalf of the National Football League, we are very excited to be back in New Orleans. It's been said before, record tying 11 Super Bowl. This is big for us. As each of the locals, if you will, said, but I will reinforce as a non-local, there's something incredibly special about this city that you all know and live every day. The vibrancy, the culture, the people, the diversity. This is a tremendous Super Bowl community for very practical reasons because of how compact it is, but most importantly of how it comes together and creates something incredibly special. That's why we're back here, and that's why we've got an opportunity together to do something incredibly special. I too want to thank Mrs. Benson. We would not be here for sure. You were right about that, Jay. Without Mrs. Benson, Dennis, Ben, the entire Saints organization, we are so proud to partner with you around this historic Super Bowl. So thank you so much. And thank you to everyone here. Thank you to the governor. I love that term, that this is really about jump-starting and really a launching pad. Super Bowl is not an end in itself, and that's what we like to hear. It's a launching pad for what it can create and a legacy that goes well beyond. Lieutenant Governor, the mayor, I love that term, summer of Super Bowl. We seem to own the winter a lot, but I love the fact that Super Bowl is on the mind through this summer and the opportunity that we have here. This is a massive stage, not only in this country, but it has been said, this is a global stage, and we're coming together to do something special on it. I often get the question, what does it take to create a successful Super Bowl, that great Super Bowl? And there are a lot of factors that go into it, but ultimately it comes down to one thing, the strength of the partnership. The strength of the partnership of the people on this stage is what makes a great Super Bowl. The NFL cannot put on a great Super Bowl by itself. We've got tremendous people, some of whom are in this room, but it takes the commitment here, the partnership here, the vision that goes beyond just thinking about the game, but thinking about the entire run-up to Super Bowl, and then that launching pad, those years that go beyond, the legacy that will go well beyond. Jay mentioned it, but the Super Bowl keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's evolved a lot since 2013, and we think in all the right ways. Obviously, the game gets bigger, its reach, its global footprint, the impact of it, but also the number of ways that local and regional fans can experience the Super Bowl has grown, and we're focused on that. That's really important, and its impact continues to grow. The mayor mentioned supplier diversity. That is a major focus of ours. partnering with the host committee, partnering with this city to make sure that local, diverse small businesses are part of this Super Bowl ecosystem. Overall, we just couldn't be more excited for what's ahead, to partner, to ramp up, and most importantly, to shine a spotlight on this city, on this state. Obviously play a great game on February 9th. We won't forget about that. But really focused on how we ensure that the legacy goes well beyond. That's how success in the Super Bowl will be measured. We're not about just coming in and having the impact on that week and leaving. We're about locking arms with these people behind me and delivering an incredible legacy for many years to come. We're here to partner. We're ready to go. Let's start the summer of Super Bowl.
Peter, thank you so much, and great to be here with everybody. And yeah, welcome to the summer of infrastructure, the summer of the Super Bowl. Please forgive the PowerPoint. I'm a recovering management consultant. I just want to give you all some background on what we're trying to do here. First of all, the goals. The goals are pretty straightforward. We're going to prepare New Orleans and really make it shine. But then equally, or I would actually say more important, we're going to make infrastructure improvements that are going to benefit residents for years and years to come. And then finally, thinking that, you know, we're pretty good at this Super Bowl thing and we'd actually like a few more. We're here to demonstrate that Louisiana and New Orleans are uniquely great at hosting Super Bowls. When you're looking at this, you have these partners, and you can see that it really is, it's like a mini Olympics. It is a massive effort. Look at this whole team. They're all working together to ensure a successful week. You have over 200 viewers from around the world. You have Mrs. Benson and the Saints, of course. And I want to say this, we're talking about the Saints and all they do for sports, but they're also incredible economic development leaders for us. That is equally or more important. That's actually fundamental. And then let me talk about the partners. Now, people say to me, so what's your job in this, Michael, with all of these experts that are behind me and people like Joe Cicero, who's been doing this for years, or with Gilbert and Jay Cicero. Yeah, apologize for that one.
It's my middle name, so.
Is it your middle name? J.J. Cicero, who's been, I kind of like that, has been doing this for years. Thank you, Amy Quirk. And I want to just say that my role in this is pretty simple. It's to ensure coordination amongst all of these various partners. It is then to drive execution on this broad and diverse range of projects. And then it's just to make sure that we put on the very best Super Bowl possible for the city and the state. So in short, it is my job to help all of these experts behind me and in the audience and beyond to do a fantastic job. So Governor, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and this responsibility. I'm humbled, I'm honored, and I'm thankful. So let's get into this. What is our mandate? This is a pie chart version of our mandate, but basically we've got a few hundred projects to get done on the infrastructure side. They are led by lights and roads and sidewalks, and these being led by DOTD and Department of Public Works. Sewer and Water Board has many as well. And so you can see it's a diverse range. What I love about the Super Bowl is that it's serving as a forcing function. I think, Governor, you and I spoke about this months ago. We can use the Super Bowl as this opportunity to bring us all together to get these projects done that we know, Mayor, we needed to get done before, and they're going to benefit our residents and the citizens of Louisiana for a long time to come afterwards. Let me get into some specifics and kind of give you some preview. So with roads, there are close to 70 road projects. You can see some of that work going on up Poydras today. You probably cursed it when you tried to get by. But remember, great art takes great pain. And you can see it's going to look beautiful afterwards. Some of it's as simple as restriping. Some of the work that we're going to be doing is going to be very dramatic. This is Bertrand Street, which is over back by LSU. It's barely a road right now. It's going to be a beautiful new street when it's done. We talked about lighting. lighting, there are over 75 projects. Some of these are all the light fixtures in the French Quarter, which we know are so important for beautification and safety. Some of them are what the parishes are going to be doing, Jefferson and New Orleans, working with DOTD to light up the interstate. And then, of course, it was mentioned by the mayor and others, the Crescent City Connection. This is going to be instant icon status. The lights have been out since Hurricane Ida took them out, and now it's not only going to be lit up, it's going to be programmable, right? And so it's going to be a spectacular image from helicopters or drones or whatever kids are using these days. Sidewalks. You might think that sidewalks are kind of a minor thing. Sidewalks are a major thing. They're about beauty. They're about safety. They're so important. We currently have a number of sidewalk projects, contracts that are being let. These are in the quarter. These are in the CBD. These are both concrete, which, thank you, Lieutenant Governor. These are both concrete, which you can see here, but also specialty paving. And I can tell you, again, it's about all these interesting side impacts. It's not just for the visitors. If you think about our citizens who are mobility impaired, or those that are pushing a stroller, right? These sidewalks are so important. We have to talk about drainage. Drainage is something we talk about every day here in New Orleans and Louisiana. There are over 40-plus projects to address drainage. I talked to Sewer and Water Board last night, to Gassan Corbett and Steve Nelson. By the end of this week, 92 of 99 pumps will be functioning. We're going to have turbine 4, online this month, 70 megawatts of power. And really importantly, Sewer and Water Board, in partnership with the city, is actively cleaning our catch basins. Let's talk about encampments. I think encampments, there's two very important points to make. One is that finding permanent supportive housing for our unhoused population is simply a humanitarian issue. This is a diverse population, and they're there not because they want to be, but because of life circumstances, and helping them is what we should do. But another part of this is that these encampments also pose a safety threat. They pose a safety threat to critical infrastructure. There's issues of theft, and so it's very critical that we remediate them. So far, 3 of the encampments have been converted. This is the one at Chop and Calliope. You can see it there. And there's a 4th one that is being worked on right now as we speak. This is Nate Fields. I think I saw Nate over there and his team. The City Council, Unity, everybody is working together on this homeless issue, and all efforts are welcome. Parks. We could have shown a beautiful park here, or shown what's happening at Duncan Plaza. It's going to be beautiful, but it's also, the humble underpass. Actually, in the car scene, that's an underpass or an overpass? I don't know, but right now it's gravel, and it's going to have grass, and it's going to look beautiful. And so there are going to be dozens of these that are getting redone, from places like Lafayette Square and Duncan Plaza to public infrastructure. And speaking of beautification, and this is one that I'm very excited about. I see friends in the mural business in the audience, like Hellas Foundation, Arts Council. We're going to be working with our local Louisiana and New Orleans artists to put on murals that tell the unique story, Peter, that you were talking about New Orleans. And these, of course, are not going to be just for the Super Bowl. These are going to be permanent. So these are just, wouldn't it be nice? There's a Becky Foss on the side of the post office looking at it from the Superdome. There's a B. Mike in Duncan Plaza. B. Mike, funny story, he used to live in the Pythian. He used to stare at that wall every day out of his apartment, just wondering why he couldn't paint it. Well, we're going to make an honest wall out of that for B. Mike. We also have our telecom partners here in the room today as well. Working with them, Verizon, AT&T, and Cox, along with Entergy. We're going to bring high-speed, reliable 5G downtown. And again, this is a service that will allow you to communicate during the Super Bowl or the Taylor Swift concert, for those of you who are doing that. But then it's going to benefit all of us going forward, right? Again, a knock-on benefit. And finally, let me bring this back to economic development. Super Bowl, 3rd most watched event in the world, I believe. Peter, right? 200 million people roughly, maybe number 2? One of the most watched in the world. Was it and number 1 in the U.S.? That's by a long shot. We have an opportunity to tell stories about New Orleans and Louisiana that go beyond the typical cliches. We can talk about our industry in terms of energy, in terms of trade, in terms of tech, in terms of every manned space flight in human history has been built in New Orleans. And then on the other side, we were talking about this before, we can talk about resilience, about the billions that have been invested in our city and our region that kept us bone dry during Category 5 Hurricane Ida. And the other improvements that we are making that have led us to be, and I see Commissioner Temple is there, ranked the most improved in America for building codes. Recent ranking that just came out. That's a big deal for insurance. And then finally, the economic development programming, the sales. With our partners at the city and LED, we're going to be doing programming at Gallier Hall. We're going to be doing programming in and around the convention center. We're going to be showcasing Louisiana industry. We're going to be showcasing Louisiana innovation. We're going to have VIPs with special events. We're going to do the first ever diplomat event with dignitaries and heads of state from around the world. And overall, our theme is going to be that we are positioning Louisiana to win with an attitude that is proactive, that is collaborative, and is determined to be the best in America. So in conclusion, I think you've gotten from everybody here today, the Super Bowl is much more than a game. It's much more than the mini Olympics that it's turned into. It's an unmatched opportunity. It's an unmatched responsibility. And with this extraordinary group of partners that we have here today, we're going to make the critical infrastructure improvements. We're going to make the compelling economic development programs to show a New Orleans and a Louisiana that are world-class, one-of-a-kind, and uniquely powerfully attractive to both visitors and businesses. And that is how New Orleans and Louisiana are going to win Super Bowl 59. And with that, I'm really excited to bring up two of my greatest colleagues, Secretary Bourgeois from Louisiana Economic Development and Secretary Donahue from DOTD. Thank you.
Thank you. Just as Lieutenant Governor Nungesser didn't want to follow Mayor Cantrell, I never want to follow Michael Hecht in a speech. So again, Michael stole lots of the thunder, but when Governor Landry took office and I assumed the role at LED, we have done everything since day one through the lens of positioning Louisiana to win. And what a perfect reference in a Super Bowl context when 200 million eyes worldwide will be on this city and ultimately on this state. And so in our department, we're referring to this as Louisiana's Super Bowl. And this is the opportunity for us to shine, but it is also the opportunity to not remind people just of our culture, just of our family, just of our food, just of the wonderful things that makes Louisiana great in that space, but the opportunity to showcase things like the Mississippi River and the global economic impact that happens there, the quality of our workforce, the legacy and generational workforce in our state, our tech culture, our economic culture in this state will shine. We will focus on this, and we will position Louisiana to win, and the Super Bowl is the perfect platform for us to do that.
Thank you. It's a great honor for DOTD to be involved in preparations for Super Bowl 59. And thanks to several different folks, we are well poised to devote both the DOT's talent and resources to making it a success. I'd like to thank Commissioner Barra and Patrick sitting right there, Scott, and of course the Governor and Mayor Cantrell as well, all of who played integral roles in bringing us to this point. Our infrastructure is key to providing a safe and pleasant experience for everyone who visits the state. And the governor has committed to revitalizing infrastructure throughout the state, including the greater New Orleans region. And it's not just for visitors. It is for the residents and citizens that use this infrastructure day in and day out. By cooperating with numerous agencies in state and local government, it is our goal to shine a spotlight on New Orleans and the surrounding regions, and at both next year's Super Bowl and for a long time to come. So I would like to also extend a personal thanks to all the residents and commuters who will experience some frustrating times from between now and the Super Bowl. I appreciate your patience and cooperation, and we will work as quickly and efficiently as possible to get some repairs that are long needed done as quickly as we can. Thank you very much.
Well, to wrap it up before we take any questions, John and Peter with NFL, I want you to know that we do appreciate the NFL giving us an opportunity for the Super Bowl to become a catalyst for a great time, for a great economic opportunities for the city of New Orleans. I want to thank Michael and the team. I want to thank the legislature for your commitment and your speed at which you answer the calls when we ask. I want to thank the City Council for its work with the mayor in showing the country how we can all work together. And then finally, John and Peter, I want you to know that the story of New Orleans is the story of Louisiana, and that's important. And while hospitality may have been invented in the South, we are going to show you that it was perfected in Louisiana. Thank you. And so with that, we'll take any questions the press may have at this time. Yes, sir. Let me bring up the professional. And
Thank you, Tony. So the funding sources are coming from, it's a range of sources. Some of it's coming from operating budgets that's pre-existing. There's been some allocations that have been made in this legislative session. And then, of course, the Sports Foundation under Jay's leadership does private fundraising as well.
Governor or Michael, what do you think are the biggest challenges going forward? Are all these efforts funded at this point, or does the money need to be located?
no, I think at this time, Jay, we have fulfilled the commitments that we need. We needed from a budgetary standpoint. The legislature was gracious. The Sports Foundation did a great job of putting the stakeholders together. A lot of the sponsors that you would see that the Louisiana Sports Foundation can give you a list on. I can tell you this, the stakeholders, the corporations, the businesses around the state, and those that do business in the state of Louisiana were very, very responsive. I see Energies here as well, just to name one. I'll probably get in trouble with not naming the rest, but I can tell you, we have had an outpouring of response from the business community, not only in the city of New Orleans, but inside the state of Louisiana as well. Yes, ma'am. Oh, look, I can tell you, I think, that the city already has experienced a great amount of relief just by some of the actions that we have taken. The state police, we continue to stand up Troop NOLA here in the city. I think that just a couple of weeks ago, the coordinated effort between the state police, the city of New Orleans, the NOPD, and the Tulane Police Department in putting down the protests that happened over at Tulane and removing those protesters from the trespassing that they were, showed the city that we can coordinate our law enforcement activities in a safe and responsible manner. Yes, yes, sir.
What has been done between the last Super Bowl and this coming Super Bowl to harden the infrastructure so we don't have another blackout?
I've got energy here, right? Marcus?
Thank you for the easy question. Actually, it is an easy question. If you think about it, we've had a decade of Saints games since the last Super Bowl. We've had multiple significant events in the Dome to prove and establish that we have the equipment and the redundancies in place to make sure the Dome puts this game off without a hitch. But beyond that, we have a great opportunity to tabletop one last test. We have the Taylor Swift concert coming up. So we've got 3 nights to really go through it one last time and make sure everything is perfect. But we have no doubts it's going to be, an event that's going to go off without a hitch. Oh yeah, that problem was solved in 2013, and it has not surfaced again since then. Thank you.
Okay, I think Marcus was right. You took the words out of my... The Taylor Swift concert is going to be the litmus test. What's good is it's in October, I believe, right? And so we've got plenty of time to fix anything that happens in between. Yeah. One more question. Nope. All right, well, thank you so very much. We look forward to putting on a great Super Bowl. Thank the NFL as well.